Welcome to the final day of the 2023 Throw Pink Women's Disc Golf Championship. Coverage brought to you by Run Productions. This is a PDGA XA tier, and my name is Holyn Handley.
And I am Raylan Klein. We have day 4. Get ready to watch the disc soar. We are at Winthrop Arena in Rock Hill, South Carolina. A beautiful day. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit on the last couple holes for our chase card. We'll check in here on the leaderboard.
Look at this incredibly tight race at the top. Handful of players, only a couple strokes from the lead. And with crazy rules like we have on hole 12 or the island on 17, it's anyone's game.
We'll start off our back 9 here with hole 10, par 3, 331 feet. So this distance, everyone on this card has it, but it's your decision if you really want to go for it over the OB and give yourself a chance for that birdie. You can also play to the left side if you want to and leave yourself with a pitch up to secure the par. If you do go OB, there is a drop zone from circle 2. You need what, like 310 to clear, I would say?
The tee pad is slightly uphill, so it's not the flattest, easiest run up. As Holyn pumps a mid half power. And Holyn has parked it, putting for birdie from 8 feet.
Beautiful. What a way to follow up the front 9 she's been having. If you haven't gotten a chance to see that, make sure you go back and watch. Eliezra. Oh, she tries so hard not to go long that she is actually short and OB.
Alexis with a more low penetrating shot. And she is safe putting for birdie.
Wow, that was such a low shot the whole way. Misy swinging her disc out a little bit further to the right, trusting that stability, and she's going to be just shy of the brick, putting for birdie. As you can see on the scorecard here, both Eliezra and Holyn eagled the last hole.
What a putt from the drop zone. Midtlyng, oh my goodness.
What a start. No hesitation. She's a pretty quick player. Just solid. And in front of all those people, that's such a fun feeling. Gannon in for the birdie.
Alexis in for birdie.
And Holyn in for birdie.
CTP, Holyn Handley, moving her to 7 under par for the round.
Holyn made some really big moves in the front 9, and you've slowly started to see the crowd build a little bit more, anyone who's following the scores.
Hole 11, par 4, 598 feet. The parking lot on the right and the road on the left are out of bounds. The circles and bubbles in the middle play as hazard. What you want to do is land in the short grass in between all of that, depending on your distance and accuracy. As you slowly work your way down the fairway, you can either lay up in between or try to pump it all the way to the green where they've given you a lot of space to hyzer out towards the road and get yourself a putt for birdie. Say the majority of players are throwing a shot similar to Holyn, just a short little hyzer to the first landing zone.
Common error with that layup play is people will give it too much height and they actually hyzer so far left into the tree line that they kind of cut themselves off from a good shot into the green.
Alexis in prime position.
Misy pulls hers a little bit more to the right, and I'm not sure if she got out of the hazard. She did not.
That tall grass is not very forgiving.
No, it's very grabby. Eliezra pushing her shot. She might go too far. Ooh.
Just at the edge.
Wow.
Perfect. First up, Holyn. She has about 340 into the green.
I mean, and you can see a player like Holyn who has the power, just really good control on her first shot, not trying to get greedy because she knows that she can execute the second shot. Although she just barely cleared the hazard.
Barely.
So Misy throwing 3. Puts herself in the circle to save par.
Expert angle control from Misy Gannon. Alexis with a nice straight shot. Bit of a hyzer finish. She's still got a birdie putt from circle's edge.
See how close Eliezra's shot. She goes with a high hyzer. Great control from her, and she's going to have a tap-in birdie. Holyn putting for birdie. Oh, what a good run.
A bit high. Alexis from 35. Just off the front of the cage. Holyn left herself with a substantial comeback. No problems. She's in for par.
Misy in for the par. Eliezra in for the birdie. And Alexis taps in her par. Hole 12, par 5, 901 feet. We tee off from the top near the Coliseum, and you're throwing down. You want to get across the sidewalk on the left side. Ideally, I think the top of the mound, but you can still push and hyzer further than that. You have these OBs here along the right side and the road left. Second shot, if you can get higher up and on the left side, you might be able to see the flag of the basket. Other than that, you might be throwing a blind hyzer or maybe forehand into the green. This hole does have a couple weird rules, and if you are to throw OB, you either go to the drop zone or you throw again from the previous lie.
Midtlyng up first.
Wow.
And has landed out of bounds off the tee. Too much hyzer on the finish. You don't see that very often.
No. I like that angle from Holyn, leaving herself at the top of the hill. Much easier footing. Alexis getting full flight out of her disc. She just crests the hill and will be on a small slant.
Misy pushing towards the out-of-bounds circle with a nice hyzer finish, landing around Holyn and Alexis.
Alexis up first, pushing a little bit of distance, but good stability on the disc, and she's putting herself halfway up the hill.
And it might look like Misy's hyzering too much, but can actually give you advantage to be higher up on the hill, as Raven mentioned, where you can see more of the basket and the flag.
Yeah, there is not too much to be gained by getting close to that right OB.
Holyn really pushing that right OB, getting far down the fairway. She'll probably have about 210 feet to the basket from there.
So Eliezra, after going OB off the drive, proceeds to the drop zone. And she mushes this second shot. So past the pin, you cannot see that from the drop zone.
She can actually still have a putt for birdie. It's a risky one, but she could also lay up and drop in a par. And from here, Misy Gannon has about 305 feet into the green, and she has landed safe. Alexis a little bit closer.
Even though we can see the top of the basket from the camera angle, Alexis probably couldn't see the flag. So that is a well-executed shot.
Alexis inside the bullseye, putting for birdie.
Holyn got a great distance on her second shot, so she is just chipping a forehand into the green. Leaves it a little bit to the right side, but she'll be putting uphill, which is always nice.
Her putt's looking solid today.
Yeah.
Misy Gannon gives it a little run. She'll be playing for par. Midtlyng almost got a birdie from the drop zone. Wow.
Holyn in for birdie. Just on a little bit of a tear today.
Moves Holyn to 8 under par for today.
When I was looking at the leaderboard after the first 3 days, my guess was that whoever wins was going to have some kind of double-digit number. So anyone who is in that position to chase, I think they know that as well. So you really have to make a push out here. Alexis and Holyn with birdies, and Misy and Eliezra taking the par here on the 12th.
Hole 13, a fun shot, par 4, 657. We're up on this mound. You want to throw towards the tree with the white sign on it. Let your disc work back in between the sidewalk and the woods on the left. And we're playing this further basket. I forgot which basket we were playing. Here in the very guarded green, oftentimes you can be just a few feet from the basket and not have a legit putt. Especially if you go long or a little bit to the left. Yeah. I do like the position we're in today versus the shorter one.
The short one on the right side. I agree. I think it's a fun second shot, trying to push something straight and maybe even get a little like full flight out of a mid or turn in there.
Holyn has landed in the short grass with open footing. She'll be able to attack for birdie. Got a lot of space to work with. You don't have to go for max distance if you're worried about accuracy, but I prefer to go for both.
Yeah. Alexis leaks a little bit into the left side. I don't think she's too far in there. Eliezra pushing something really high. And she is going to be in the trees on the left side. She just did not give that a wide enough berth to crash back into the fairway.
Misy's moving left quite quickly as well.
Everyone seemed like they were just timid on that shot. No one really pushed the sidewalk. And it's going to create much more difficult second shots. Misy just pitches out from almost like a reverse patent pending. Alexis going for it as well. You'll see players not wanting to opt for that forehand because they don't want anything to leak into the right side, the OB line by the trees.
Alexis gets some good distance, but she's trickled back to the left. She should be able just to pitch up and play for par. She's not that far from the basket. Holyn's second shot, looking to get up there by the green and get herself a birdie putt.
This looks so nice. Gives it great height. Wow.
Oh, she's parked it. What a shot.
Same dish she parked hole 7 with. I love the way that one looks when it flies because of the throw Joe's dye on it. Eliezra was further into the woods, so she opts for a simple forehand pitch out to the fairway. There are a lot of thorns and like the holly bushes. Why you gotta be so pointy?
Shiny and pointy.
Would you describe yourself as shiny and pointy?
With red berries. Midtling's thrown a bit long of the basket, but she has given herself a putt. She might have to straddle out. Oh,
Misy.
Misy's pull through. Looks like she hit that limb and it just killed the vibe of the shot.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, I hate to wait.
Early release, low release, skips back into the left side. Just not what you want. Hate when that happens.
Yep. Alexis pitches up.
That's one of those they're human moments when you see something like that. Misy going to pitch up again. She does flare a little bit off of the sidewalk, and she has stuff in her way.
This is a hefty putt.
Oh.
Oh, unable to make good on the putt, Misy Gannon.
She probably only had half the basket she could actually see through those 2 trees. Midtlyng in for par. Definitely a high putt, though. She made herself nervous for a second.
Alexis in for par. Curious to see what Holyn's going to do here.
Probably make it. That's my... She was pretty close, right? Was she have 1 tree in her way?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a hyzer.
Misy will have to settle for a 6 here on the 13th.
I feel like Holyn might be in one of the gaps.
Oh, no big deal. Holyn in for birdie. Holyn sitting at 9 under par and Alexis at 5 under.
Hole 14, par 3, 261 feet. We have an elevated pin, so you can either go with something maybe a little bit slower through this right gap. You want to aim for about the sidewalk that is right before the basket and get yourself a skip toward the pin. If you want, you can also play the forehand line out to the left and crash in toward the pin. However, if you go too long, which is easy to do on this downhill, you do have hazard behind the basket.
After 2 birdies in a row, Holyn Handley up first. Woo, I haven't seen this shot yet.
Oh,
a high
so
forehand
high.
spike hyzer. And she is just short of the sidewalk.
I feel like she went a little bit higher than she planned on.
First time I've seen that.
I think the last time I saw her throw that, she went too low and she went way into the hazard. So that's her adjustment.
Alexis hits the gap, past the sidewalk, and she is safe putting for birdie.
It just comes up so quick.
She says that a lot.
Yeah, she's just not having the releases that she I think, is picturing in her head. She goes way down the hill into the hazard, which can feel really punishing since she will have to putt from there. I predict a layup for the bogey.
Misy hits the gap but clips some trees and trickles early left short of the sidewalk. She'll have to play for par. Misy pitches up, but she doesn't like it. She's waving for it to get down. And she's given herself a bit of a long putt, but that's in Misy range.
Holyn's not even going to take a full second. She knew out of the hand on the drive that she'd be pitching up for par. Midtlyng leaves her approach to the left short side.
Alexis, the only one with a real birdie putt, and hits the band.
It's a good putt.
Good attempt.
Especially when you have more of a hyzer putt like her. A miss could go down the hill an extra 20 feet.
Misy's putt falls out right side. She'll have to take a bogey here on the 14th. But she's still smiling.
Classic Misy. Eliezra in for the bogey. She's just having a couple ups and downs here. Alexis in for the par, followed up by Misy with the bogey, and Holyn, the smart layup, taking a par. Keeping it simple here on the 14th.
I want to be known for winning a lot of tournaments. You know, hopefully I get to a point where I can be dominant in an era with so many people coming up in the game. It's so hard to stay consistent at the top. That's kind of my goal, is to set the new standard for this generation.
Welcome back, Ace Runners. Hole 15, par 4, 467 feet. This plays as a triple mandatory. If you want to be greedy, you can go through the mandatory and also hyzer left. However, just going straight, that's perfectly fine. Your second shot's going to be a tricky one. You've got a low ceiling, it's very guarded, and if you land more on the left side, I find it to be a little more forgiving, a bit more open over there, and you might have a better look for a birdie putt. Holyn Handley up first. She is through the gap and moving left. What a shot.
She went so far straight.
Past the U-discer.
Get down. Alexis catches the top of the triple mando but falls just shy of it, so she has not missed the mando yet. Eliezra catching the left side of the mando. Couldn't really tell where she landed, but I don't think she missed it.
Misy's through the gap. Nice low shot.
Ooh,
and next to the
position.
Telephone pole. Or is it a light post?
I think it was a...
Yeah, it's definitely not
post.
a telephone pole. Too skinny.
No, but there is another pole on this hole that has one of those, like, campus phones on it.
It does.
So this is the
Emergency
right hole for
phone.
that. Yeah.
Alexis forced to do a standstill chip shot just to get around the corner.
Eliezra going with the forehand to get herself into position to save par. I would say well executed.
She's by the light post as well.
Holyn throwing a low forehand, gets a good skip.
I love a low forehand skip. I need to work on that shot.
Me too.
I'm jealous. It's easy to do with the backhand, but I haven't figured it out with the forehand yet. Midtlyng with a really good-looking forehand.
Much smoother than the one we saw from her the other day on this hole. Misy also going with the forehand in toward the basket. She skips more onto the right side, though, and there are way more branches and tree trunks in the way, as Holly kind of mentioned.
Alexis going more to the open side, and she's up there with a putt.
Holyn is directly behind this clump of trees here, so she's going to have kind of a jump hyzer.
45 feet. Holyn Handley, what a putt for birdie. Light Factory run back.
Whew. What commitment. Great putt from Holyn. She is just feeling good today.
Holyn now 10 under par. Card mates love it.
Holyn is not one to actively check scores when she plays rounds. I mean, she's not dumb, so she knows that she's playing well. But always interesting to me to see how players carry themselves.
Midtlyng in for par, and as you saw Misy over there on the right side, her putt got knocked down early. She just had too much to get through to get up to the basket for a real putt. That's why we mentioned you want to favor the left side or the middle if you can. Alexis makes good for the par. But it's like there's a disc magnet over there in that right pocket.
There really is. Backhands, forehands, everyone somehow ends up on the right side. Hole 16, par 3, 342 feet. It is a sloping downhill shot. On the right side, you do share the fairway line with hole, was it 8? I think.
Yes.
Hole 8. So that does play as hazards. A lot of players are just going to throw something straight, try and get pin deep here, maybe on the left side, or if they can float something at full flight coming in and hitting the ground just shy of the basket, you can feed between these last two trees. There is also hazard along the left side and deep of the basket if you were to throw too high and hyzer out.
Holyn Handley up first after a birdie on the 15th. A high forehand. Haven't seen that from any female yet. And she's up there putting for birdie. It's such a magnificent crowd, it almost sounds fake.
It really is. It was a great crowd out there.
Alexis has trickled into the hazard. She has a putt to save par.
Eliezra with a beautiful shape shot here. It is hyzering out a little bit, but she's just outside the circle. Might have that trunk in her way, though, and have to straddle to the left side.
Shout out Terry Miller. Misy with a low shot, moving towards the basket.
Keep gliding.
And Misy is barely outside the bullseye, putting for birdie.
Alexis to save par from the hazard. Gives it a great run, but catches the front of the cage.
Saw Johnny Disc Golf sprinting in the background. Midtlyng gives it a run and unfortunately trickles into the hazard. What a stinky error here on 16.
Holyn Handley for birdie.
Holyn Handley, another birdie? Another one? 11 under par.
I mean, I always say to my friends, we're like, birdies are free. You just got to take them. But she's taking all of them.
That reminds me of, I used to be obsessed with the show Gold Rush, and there's like, everybody's a millionaire. You just got to get it out of the ground.
Eliezra puts It was just off. She hit the tree on the left side.
Misy
Oh,
Gannon
Misy, no.
off the band for the shorty.
Ugh.
Hate to let that one fly away.
Eliezra in for the double. Man. Yeah, not happy about it, and Misy will tap in her par.
I don't even have a word for the birdie to the double. You got the birdogey, but what's the...
I just call it a birdouble.
A birdouble?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a birdouble, and they're sad.
It was sad. But not sad for Holyn Handley. 11 under par and another birdie.
Wow.
Long walk to 17 as you contemplate life. This par 3 island hole coming in at only 249 feet. You can chip up and then chip up again and play it for a 3. Or you can go for the green off the tee, but you must land safe in order to proceed to the green. We've got this basket here on the smaller tip. See a lot of shots land just short of the hay bales, not sneaking into the inbounds area.
We don't often get enough holes on tour that are so short where you're like, oh, what a fun ace run kind of thing. This one's just not worth it.
Holyn Handley up
going
first.
in the water.
Forehand off the tee. I love the angle.
Playing the safe shot. This is not about being close to the basket. This is about being on the island, and that is it.
Misy Gannon forehand off the tee.
Ooh!
Misy almost
Misy
throwing
does
it
go
in,
for
giving
it.
herself a birdie putt.
I waited all weekend just trying to watch aces. This is the one. We had one last year. For FPO, anyway.
Alexis forehand.
I love when people swing it wide and give it a chance.
She is safe. Ooh, a 4 for 4. Not enough juice from Midtlyng. She'll have to proceed to drop spot 1.
3 for 4 it is. And Eliezra going with the backhand for her second shot, but that needs to push.
Oh no, she shorts it.
Ugh.
She'll have to proceed to drop spot 2.
So our second drop spot here, it's a C2 putt. The basket is so close to the hay bales though, so as much as you want to save a double, anyone who misses the 2 first shots almost always takes a 6.
Holyn lays it up. And this has unique rules. If you go out of bounds, you cannot take it from where it went out of bounds. You have to putt from the same lot.
Similar rules to hole 12.
Misy in for the birdie after a forehand off the tee. Moves Misy to 1 under par.
Ooh,
Oh my gosh.
Holyn.
That was out and then it was back in.
In for the par.
Alexis in for par. And Midtlyng will take a 6 here on hole 17.
Welcome back. We have a final hole, hole 18, par 5, 647 feet. The water OB on the left side and then followed up by a string that continues the entire way. You also have OB on the right side as well as that pole mandatory. And then you need to push something that gets around the corner, and it's a much more like pushing shot than you would think. And you'll see a lot of players hyzer out early. Get as close to this basket as possible because it's probably one of the most nerve-wracking putts we have on tour. At this point, Holyn is actually in the lead by 2 strokes with Kristen Tatar close behind on that lead card.
First up, Misy Gannon after a birdie on 17. A nice flat shot to the left and over that bush. She is safe in the middle of the fairway.
This is definitely a hole where you don't need to push a lot of distance on the first shot. We did see the first ever eagle on this hole from Eliezra 2 days ago. So it can be done, but you don't need the distance.
Holyn Handley up second, forehand off the tee. She has hit some trees and she is out of bounds off the tee. It's tough to say if she actually hit inbounds or not.
It's a very difficult angle to see from the tee pad, and even what we can see from the camera isn't necessarily what was visible to the players. Eliezra going with the backhand off the tee, throws it a little too low, not enough stability, and she's going to be out of bounds high on the right side.
First up, Alexis. From here, players are looking to do a safe chip shot about even with the ginkgo biloba tree. But unfortunately, Alexis didn't put enough air under that, and she is out of bounds on the left side.
You can see here them just talking about the card.
I thought it had a possibility. From mine, it looked like it did. And Alexis said she thought it did, so.
Holyn confers with her card mates. Misy and Alexis say they thought it crossed in bounds, so this will be her drop spot. And from here, Holyn is now throwing 3.
And from this tee pad on 18, only the player throwing can actually be on the dock. So the rest of the players are slightly off to their right side.
And Holyn landing by the ginkgo tree, barely safe.
She is on the line.
Barely.
Eliezra missing the mandatory.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about the manual. No, she missed it. Okay, so it drops on there. Yeah. Okay, so it drops on there?
So just conferring again with card mates. And because she missed the mandatory, she will just move up to the drop spot.
So Misy does the placement chip shot, which is what Alexis was looking for.
A great shot from Midtlyng.
She absolutely parks it from the drop spot. Crowd loves it.
Alexis keeping it low, hoping for a similar skip. Doesn't push quite as far, but she'll be just outside the circle. Working her way up the fairway.
This is Misy Gannon's 3rd shot. A nice low hyzer with a bit of a skip. She's given herself a birdie putt.
Wow, she has just split the line with her disc. Kind of tricky positioning here for Holyn with that tree in front of her.
This is Holyn's fourth shot. 18
Swings
playing
it
as a
wide.
par 5. She's got a par putt. Oh no, out of bounds.
The string on that left side just
Out
kind
of
of pops
bounds.
up. No. You can tell she kind of took a little bit off because there is OB deep of the basket too. Oh,
What a brave putt from Alexis off the top band.
wow.
And Holyn takes it from right where the disc went out.
This is to save a bogey for Holyn, and this is not a happy putt. That was incredible. That was a great putt.
Holyn in for the bogey here on hole 18 after going out of bounds twice. Almost 2.5.
Yeah. Ooh.
What a putt from Misy Gannon. You can't move too quickly on this green.
No, it's very slippery. Alexis in for the bogey. And Eliezra, with that great shot, saves a bogey here on the 18th. So with that bogey from Holyn, it leaves her with a one-stroke lead, while the lead card will come into play 18. Kristen Tatar was one stroke back from Holyn, and this is for birdie. So we have a playoff. The playoff rules for this tournament are a circulation of hole 1, hole 17, and hole 18.
Here we are back at hole 1 with the downhill double Mando, par 3, 283 feet. Just want to throw straight with a putter or mid, hopefully making past this down log, getting inside the circle with a putt at birdie. A lot of space to work with, but you do have the out of bounds road on the left and obviously the lake on the right side, but that never really comes into play on this hole.
I can't even imagine a situation when it could. Worst rollaway ever, maybe.
It's a sudden death playoff. If you push a hole, you alternate who tees off first. So we have the green side and the yellow side.
Green side, Kristen. Yellow side, Holyn. Whatever I flip, the color will go first. Okay, you ready? Yep.
Just tosses it up.
Right at their face.
And we are ready to tee off whenever you guys are.
All right.
I was expecting that.
Like a flick, like with a quarter. Just tosses it up. So Kristen will be going first.
Haven't seen a lot of forehands off the tee here.
Definitely don't see as many. I know Kristen went with it every day. It's a very comfortable shot. A little bit of a flex here. Oh, and that tree stopped Kristen's disc for a moment.
First she had a 25-footer and now it's a 40-footer.
Wow.
But we've seen her make that putt from that exact same spot in previous days.
Let's see. Katie Tate on the bag for Kristen. Holyn with the backhand. Very pure but high. And she goes past the basket, almost a similar distance from Kristen. Just a little bit further out.
Kristen was ready to putt, but Holyn asserts her dominance and says, "It's me." Holyn up first from 45 feet. Slightly downhill.
And this is a sudden death playoff.
Holyn with
Maybe the first putt we've seen her miss all day.
taste of the chains, and she drops to the ground.
It's a very weird feeling to just have the outcome lay in someone else's hands.
Kristen gives it good height, but just right of the basket.
Whew. Not over yet. Still need to make the par putt. Probably the longest feeling 15-footer you could have.
Telling you, Holyn in for par.
And Kristen in to push hole 1 of the playoff.
Playoff, playoff.
At this point, so I mean, I was down there, so I'm not gonna say anything. But it was crazy to watch the crowd. As soon as they were putting it that last putt, everyone just ran to get into position for the second hole. Hole 17, par 3, 249 feet. It might look familiar because we just saw it, but you want to throw a forehand into this island green. Most players are not trying to get super close to the basket. They're just trying to be safe. They're just trying to be safe. And with this playoff, it's interesting. I wonder what's going through each of their heads as far as, do you want to try and get
Safe
that
or
birdie
park
putt?
it? Are you safe or
I
parking it?
don't know. I think I would just go safe. I don't think I have the...
Safe or parking it? Holyn up first.
If you're first, safe.
If you're first.
I think if you're
Safe.
second, ace run.
Holyn's got a good angle on it, plenty of distance.
She does swing it a little bit wider than she did half an hour ago.
Plenty safe for Holyn, but I'd say it's a long putt.
Kristen turns hers over. and
Aggressive
she's got
angle.
Too much distance.
It's long, out of bounds. Kristen in the water. Probably going for the park job or throw in.
It's
Kristen from the first
here's
drop
the
spot.
here's the thing. She could throw it in now and have another push. So
Yes.
you know that she kept her calm. Obviously, it's not what she wanted off the tee. But as far as competitors go, Kristen is at the top. I mean, gives it a good shot, and she'll be putting for the bogey.
All Holyn needs to do at this point is put it under the basket and drop it in.
Ooh.
That was a very forgiving pole hit and roll.
Holyn Handley in for the par and in for her first big win. I know this is technically an XA tier, but it does not feel like one.
Holyn Handley's had a lot of podium finishes, and she has finally came out on top.
And she matches the trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Throw Peak Women's Disc Golf Champion, Holyn Handley!
The shirt matching the trophy.
It was meant to. I wonder if she saw the trophy.
Chase card champion, let's go, Holyn! Are you kidding me? What are you feeling right now?
A lot. I don't know. I thought I was completely out of it and was just cruising. I didn't even know until hole 18 that I was in the lead.
You didn't check scores until the final hole.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to check all day, and then, you know, the crowd energy and the energy of the people around me kind of was a little different. I felt like people were cheering a little louder than normal. I kind of suspected something was up, and then, you know, my tap in on 17, I felt really nervous. I was like, I feel nervous anyway. I may as well just check the scores, and then saw that I had a 2-stroke lead.
Well, talk about the 10 under par round today. I mean, you were in the zone.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like yesterday, you know, my putt was missing some of its usual pop, and I was kind of caging and pulling some putts, but it was on today, and I just felt smooth, didn't feel scared or nervous at all.
Okay, so you didn't check scores until hole 18, and then you had to sit and wait for 10, 15 minutes. Like, what does that do to your nervous system?
Yeah, I was definitely feeling I call them the tingles. I normally feel them on like hole 1, you know, in the first day or anytime I'm in contention. But yeah, I was definitely feeling it. And I just wanted to make sure I gave the shot enough commitment. Pulled it a little bit wide, was lucky to kind of touch inbounds and get to take it from up there. But yeah, definitely was feeling it on 18.
Well, talk about the rest of the hole. I mean, your OB left side, there was like controversy or whether or not you crossed. People were wondering what's going on. Like, what was that discussion with your card mates like? And then the rest of the hole, you threw it OB again. Like, what is going through your head? You must be freaking out.
Yeah, after the first one went, like, it looked to me like it touched, but I went and asked Alexis and asked what she thought, and she said she thought it touched, and, you know, 2 people is enough to call it. And then Misy also thought it had touched in, so took what my card mate said, took it where it was, and then I liked my second shot. I didn't realize it was quite that close to the line, and then that tree kind of made that last shot awkward. And so I, you know, disc up to a Buzz OS to try and make sure I had enough speed to get over there, and I just barely didn't have the distance. But luckily the putt's been feeling really good, so those downhill putts feel really good to me this weekend. So.
I mean, you didn't even take any extra time there on that 22-footer. You buried it, and then you got to watch Kristen Tatar birdie the hole. A playoff here. How special is it to get your first tour victory on hole 17 at this green, Holyn?
Yeah, absolutely insane. I mean, I was really happy with where I put it because I was like, I can make that putt if I need to. And then Kristen, you know, tried to park it, I guess, and pulled it over a little bit. My jaw just dropped. I don't see her make mistakes like that very often, and I immediately almost started crying just before walking down here. So,
well, anyone you want to thank at home, Holyn?
Yeah, I know my mom's probably going crazy right now. She usually doesn't watch till the end because she gets too nervous. But if you're watching, Mom, just saying hi and I love you, and you know, thank you for all of your support. I'm sure my dad and my grandma are watching as well, so thanks to you guys. And then I've got to give the biggest thank you to Tyler, my boyfriend who lives on tour with me. Couldn't do this without him. So.
Your Throw Pink champion from the chase card, Holyn Handley.
So happy. That was, we were waiting for that. We were very excited about that. They stopped us from putting it on the green because MPO still had to play. But it was full of ice. So, you know, good for her. Wow. What an ending to a very well-known tournament, very well-known holes to end on, like Nate kind of said. Hole 17, very iconic hole. Great shooting by the rest of the field. These are probably the highest numbers we've ever seen in FPO. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to support Holly and myself, since we're local in the area, Charlotte, another round, you can order any disc that you want from any manufacturer and get either one of our stamps on the bottom.
Yes, or if you'd like to pick up a Glow Fairway driver, I have a Tour Series Innova Int with a cool alien stamp. You can get that from your favorite online disc golf retailer. Another round might actually have some.
They might. Thank you guys so much for watching.
We'll see you on the next one.
From the chase card.